It was really a series of events and revelations about my calling as a teacher. And when I used to complain about that's the only work that I was getting when I would rather be on tour and performing, my siblings reminded me that I used to make them play school when we were little in the summer. And they had to come to school from 9 to 5. I gave them homework and the whole spiel. I was living in New York City, and I had a friend ask me if I wanted to be a teaching artist for Carnegie Hall. And I said, what's a teaching artist? I'm a performer, I'm touring. No, I mean, it's the death of a musician to think, that stigma that if you're a teacher, then that means you're not really being a real musician, which is a myth. I came to North Carolina for a concert around 2003 or 2004 here at North Carolina Central University. And after I finished that concert and masterclass, the director of jazz studies, Dr. Ira Wiggins, called me back in my home in New York and asked me would I be interested in coming to NCCU to help them develop the vocal jazz component of the jazz studies program. Eventually I called him back a couple of days later and said, if that job is still open, I'll take it. If you are a black person in this country, you've experienced racism, whether or not you've acknowledged it as such. There is the systemic and institutionalized versions of it will get you. I was in college, standing in front of Berklee College of Music where I attended to do my undergrad, and got called the N-word, standing on the corner with some friends. After I graduated but stayed in Boston, I worked with my trio at a jazz supper club. And the agent who booked us said, listen, make sure you don't take no more than one other black person in your band to perform at this supper club. So I was a little defiant, and the next time I had a booking there for a month-long, 5-night-a-week supper club gig with my trio, instead of having all the musicians white and me being the only black person, I took all black musicians. The next day, my agent called me and said, they don't want you back. They're going to pay you for the month. He said, you changed your band? I said, yeah. And he said, well, I wasn't kidding about that rule. They didn't want that many black people on the bandstand. What gives me hope for the future? My students. Every time I experience or read another letter or card that a student sent me and said, Ms. Hammonds, you changed my life. Ms. Hammonds, if it weren't for you, ... When I see the students that I've worked with, my jazz musician students who are now teaching other students jazz and helping to steward this cultural rich treasure that we call jazz, that gives me a lot of hope.